Okay, I like this. Hey guys, philzero here. So from months ago, from like the third video I ever posted, I started getting a bunch of comments to check out this band called Freeze the Fall, and they've been on my list for a while now. I remember seeing a funny comment that said Freeze the Fall has been adopted by the Warning Army as one of their own. So Russ in Canada said, Russ, it was nice meeting you at the Warning Hailstorm Evanescence show, by the way. Vlog coming soon. So Russ says there's a British Columbia band that's partially inspired by the Warning and you need to know about them. Freeze the Fall from Kelowna. Good start. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, and we go out to Kelowna every now and then. It's about a 4-hour drive away. They dropped their first video single February 1st. This resulted in them being contacted by 604 Records. Okay. So I do know a few artists who are on 604 Records. They're a Vancouver-based record label. And you know who owns 604? Well, Chad owns it with his lawyer. Vocalist guitarist Quinn is 17, drummer Jonah is 16, and bassist backing vocalist Aria is 15. So a few weeks ago I did my first live stream, and someone commented that Freeze the Fall will be playing a show in Vancouver this month, and that I should check them out. And I was like, yeah, local young band on the come up, let's do it. Vancouver's non-existent music scene needs all the life it can get. And then Freeze the Fall themselves popped into my stream and we had a little chat, so of course I'm going to their show. Hey, Freeze the Fall's in here. Hey guys. Oh yeah, and also by some crazy coincidence, I was in Las Vegas last week for the When We Were Young festival. There were like 65,000 people there. There was no cell reception, and who did I run into? Aria from Freeze the Fall. Like, that was just pure dumb luck. This is like the Ariana Grande thing. I don't know if it's Aria or Aria. So the show I'm going to is next week. Probably in a few days by the time I post this. I haven't heard their music yet, so let's check out Glitch, the song that got them signed. It is this one Russ was talking about, right? 8 months ago? Yeah, that's February. And like before I even watch it. Okay. Those keys. I met her. Nice harmonies. Okay. Okay, I like this. They've got some cool stuff going on here. That intro line was a clever touch. How it was just one vocal line before the intro instrumental. One more time. I really like that harmony. Okay. Okay, so that first chorus line is really, really good. I've talked a lot about marrying the lyrics to the instrumental, and this line does it perfectly. Like it's already stuck in my head. If we were robotic. The harmonies in the pre-chorus were well placed as well. So there is something I caught, which I would be interested in hearing how this would have sounded. So right before the chorus hits, the guitar palm mutes, kind of like a build, but the drums and bass weren't following the guitar. And this is not like a critique or a criticism. It's their song, they're the artists, they can do whatever they want. Maybe they have a reason for that. This is kind of just what I heard in my head. Let's listen to that part again. Right here. So I would be interested in what that would sound like with like a build and stop, or even just a build. Dun, 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 stop. Boom. Anyone else feel that? Maybe it's just me. I don't know what chords she plays, but this looks like she's playing a C. Okay, that's the key they're in. So let's listen to that part again. Da 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 da. If we were robotic. Like that build with the palm muting and then everything cuts out and then boom. Because that first chorus line is so good and such a strong hook, it feels to me anyway that it should be emphasized more and shoved into our faces a bit more. Just my opinion, or who knows, maybe they do it later in the song. Or not. This is music. This is art. There are no rules here. Okay, I'm loving this so far. Let's see what else we got. I can't unhear that now. Second verse switch up. That's such a good chorus line. Oh, that bass riff? Aria. Jonah. Okay. Whoops. What's happening? Okay, there's a couple little things I want to hear again. Was that Quinn? That big belt? Okay, there's also a little subtle thing here I want to point out. Like, I really like this stuff, but producers generally don't like this. But I think it's cool, so let's listen to this last chorus coming off the bridge again. So the syllable count and the lyrics are different. Da-na-na-na, robotic. So the other choruses. And then the last chorus. You hear the difference? So in the last chorus, they added more syllables in the line, but they dropped an impact syllable. So the first two choruses were, if we were robotic. There's two hits, right? If we were robotic. But in the last chorus, they added some more syllables, which took away the first impact hit. So it was like, da 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 da, robotic. Like, it doesn't have that first impact hit, right? On the if. If we were robotic. Okay, last chorus again. So I like this stuff because it gives it some more flavor and makes it less cookie cutter without having to change like everything. But most producers, they generally prefer cookie cutter because it's proven that it works, right? Like if you sang the same thing in chorus 1 and 2, why wouldn't you repeat it at the end? And not that that's good or bad, it's just safer. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a taste or a preference thing. And I caught this right away because I've encountered this a few times back when I used to record before I became old and gave up on my dream. I would do a little switch up like this, and then the producer would be like, whoa, why are you changing anything? Just sing the same thing you sang before. And those are the moments where you need to make a decision of what you want your song to sound like. Okay. I like it. They definitely know what they're doing. There's no doubt about it. They've got the right idea and they're on the right track. They've got the transitions, the fills, the harmonies, the dynamics. Oh, I dropped water on myself. Like, this may be the first single they dropped, but I can tell that this is not the first song they've written and that they've been writing for a while. Which is crazy to think about since they're so young right now. Because there are some elements in here that are pretty refined, and it's not just stuff that you write right off the bat. Like the fills and the syncopations, like this is stuff that you kind of add after. So I think they were revising this one for a while before they actually recorded it. Also, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, and this is based on absolutely nothing but gut feeling on some composition things that I noticed. But I'm willing to bet that this song was at least partially inspired by The Warning's Choke. I could be completely wrong. That was a YOLO guess. Hey, Freeze the Fall, was I right? You can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. If I'm wrong, I'll buy you a drink at your show. Oh, wait, you guys aren't even old enough to drink. I'll buy you a pop. No, that's bad for you. I'll get you an orange juice. Get your vitamins. Okay. Ideas are brewing in my head. Let's pick a good frame to leave up. Is there one of the whole band? There we go. So I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but I can definitely see the potential and the talent, and I think I have a pretty clear idea of where I think they should be going and what they should be doing. Because I've gone down a similar path with my old band and Freeze the Fall. We live in the same province, the same country. We probably know a lot of the same people. The Canadian music industry, it's pretty tight-knit. Like, everyone kind of knows everyone. So I know some things, and I don't want Freeze the Fall to make the same mistakes my band did when we were sort of around the same stage as where they are now. Given that this was like over 10 years ago, and the music industry landscape has obviously changed since then. But hey, Freeze the Fall, let's chat at your show. Or if you're coming down to Vancouver a bit early, let me know. Okay, let's brain dump a bit. So, I always rag on the Canadian music scene because it is pretty dead. My theory is that it's just too expensive to live here, and admittedly, that's actually a big part of why I retired from being a musician. You just can't afford to live here. And Vancouver especially is always on the list for most expensive places to live in the world. So people are struggling just to pay rent and buy food, let alone going out to see musicians or trying to be a musician. It's tough. And I was chatting a bit with Ashlena about this, fellow Canadian music YouTuber. Check her out. But like 99% of Canadian artists who do make it, they get hit with what we call the Canadian artist's curse, where they're fairly big in Canada, but they can't seem to break out of the country. And the Canadian artists who did manage to break out and go big, it was always with an American label, or it was piggybacking off of something that wasn't rooted in Canada. Nickelback, 3 Days Grace, Sum 41, Simple Plan, Bieber, Drake, Weeknd. And a big part of that is because, well, it's just a numbers game, right? Like California alone has more people than our entire country. Wait, is that still true? Let me check before I sound dumb. California population 2024. Okay, Cali's at 39 million. Canada population 2024. 39 million. We've got a bit more, but it's pretty close. But just think about that for a sec. Like, one American state has about as many people as our entire country. So fun fact, Carly Rae Jepsen, she was? I don't know if she's still there, but she was on 604 Records, the label that Freeze the Fall is on, and her huge song that you guys all know, Call Me Maybe. So that song was produced and co-written by Josh Ramsey of Marianas Trench, who's another Vancouver band on 604 Records, and they got hit with the Canadian artist's curse. Like, I really thought they would have broken out. But the story of how Call Me Maybe blew up is kind of crazy. So Carly was on Canadian Idol, where she got signed by 604 Records. Then they did Call Me Maybe, which kind of floated around the radio for a while. Does anyone still listen to the radio? And nothing really happened with the song. Like, it got big in Canada, but again, numbers, right? Like, you could be number one in Canada and no one outside of the country knows who you are. But Katy Perry posted a video of herself like dancing around and lip syncing to Call Me Maybe because the song came up on her Spotify shuffle or whatever. And from that one video, the song blew up worldwide, and then Bieber and Scooter poached Carly under management, and the rest is history.
Please welcome my artist, Carly Rae Jepsen.
And to this day, you can't even walk into a grocery store without hearing Call Me Maybe. I wonder what Carly's doing now. Anyways, I hope Freeze the Fall keeps it up. I hope they navigate the new music landscape well. And I hope they don't get hit with the Canadian artist's curse. And I'm looking forward to their show. So that's it for this one. If you enjoy this kind of video, please consider subscribing. It really does help me out. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.